I jolted awake to the roar of cement trucks tearing through my garden, only to uncover that my HOA's so-called security station was a cover for foreign spies targeting my classified government work. Would my cover hold long enough to call for help? My coffee mug slipped from my hand and shattered on the kitchen tiles as the rumble of heavy machinery shook the house. I dashed to the front door, freezing at the sight of 3 cement trucks parked along my property line. Workers in neon vests were pounding stakes into my beloved flower beds. "Hey, stop that right now," I yelled, sprinting barefoot across the lawn, the morning dew soaking my pajama legs as I waved my arms wildly. A worker with a clipboard barely looked up. "Ma'am, we've got authorization. Please step back for your safety." "Authorization from who?" "This is my land." My voice broke as a bulldozer ripped through the roses I'd tended for 5 years. From the Willow Grove Homeowners Association came a crisp voice behind me. I spun around to see Linda Carter, the neighborhood's self-proclaimed ruler, standing there in a pristine blazer despite the early hour. Section 17.3 of the Covenant grants us access for community upgrades. "Upgrades? You're ruining my garden." Linda's smile didn't reach her eyes. The board voted unanimously. "This corner lot is ideal for our new security station." My stomach sank. Security station? No one told me about a vote. "Notices went out via email last month," Linda said, inspecting her flawless nails. "Not my problem if you ignore HOA updates." I fumbled with my phone, scrolling through my inbox. No construction notices, no vote. "There was no email, Linda. You can't just—" "Oh, I can," she interrupted, tapping her tablet and showing me my signature on the covenant from when I bought the house 3 years ago. Page 42, paragraph 3. My neighbor Emily jogged over in her coordinated workout gear. "Isn't this great, Rachel? We're getting cameras and everything." "Cameras?" My blood chilled. My home office window faced this exact spot where I worked as a remote software consultant, a cover for my real job analyzing foreign signals for the NSA. "Top-notch surveillance," Linda said proudly. "The board's focused on property values." My mind raced. That equipment in my office couldn't be seen. "This is trespassing," I said firmly. "Get them off my property." Linda's smile tightened. "James," she called. My neighbor James, who spent odd hours birdwatching with binoculars, appeared instantly, his usual warmth replaced by a steely edge. "MS. WIS seems unclear on HOA authority," Linda said sweetly. "Care to clarify while I oversee the foundation pour?" James stepped closer, voice low. "Listen up. This doesn't have to get messy. We've noticed your late nights, your satellite gear, your midnight guests. The board's got questions." A shiver ran through me. Had they cracked my cover? "I work remotely for a tech firm," I said, sticking to the script. "Odd hours come with the job." "Sure," James said, his smile cold. "And that unmarked van 3 houses down during your book club? Tech-related too." My support team feed been spotted. The cement mixer's grind drowned out further talk as workers framed a structure that looked more like a cell than a security post. I retreated inside, hands trembling as I locked the door. My secure phone buzzed in my desk drawer. Cover potentially compromised. Maintain position. Assess threat. Through the kitchen window, I saw signal gear being embedded in the foundation before the concrete sealed it. This wasn't about neighborhood watch. The doorbell jolted me, and I dropped my binoculars. Linda stood there with an official-looking paper. "Courtesy notice," she said, handing it over. "Construction takes 2 weeks. We'll need daily access 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. "This isn't legal," I said, skimming it. "I'm calling my lawyer." Her mask slipped for a second. "I wouldn't. Digging too deep can be risky, especially for someone with secrets." As she left, I saw James snapping photos of my windows. That night, I swept my house and found 3 listening devices: Cecily Vying room lamp, kitchen clock, bedroom VIN foreign intelligence standard. My phone buzzed again. Surveillance confirmed. Maintain cover. Backup alerted. Outside, the gray box loomed over my ruined garden, its cameras aimed at my house. 5 days later, the structure was a concrete bunker with narrow windows and a steel door, eating up a quarter of my yard. "Quite an improvement, huh?" Linda stopped by, her eyes probing my home. "It blocks my VYEW and tanks my property value," I said evenly. "I've been digging into county codes, fascinating stuff." Her smile wavered. "The HOA has permits. Funny, the county planning office has no record of them." Her grip tightened on her clipboard. We've got exemptions. Special enough to skip local laws? I pressed. That'd be something. Community safety trumps all, she snapped, dropping the act. Some neighbors report suspicious active VY tie. Like what? Odd electronics, late-night VY sighters, strange habits. She leaned in. The kind that might interest certain agencies. Before I could reply, the doorbell rang. A delivery guy stood there, Agent Carter, my support team. Sign here, he said, whispering, mixed foreign operators. Unknown affiliation. I took the package, likely counter-surveillance. Hey, asked. Linda watched closely. New boyfriend? She teased. Just a delivery, I said, pulse racing. That night, an emergency HOA meeting buzzed at the community center. Linda stood at the podium with James and two suited strangers. Our security upgrade's almost done, she began, but we've got concerns about unauthorized active VY tie. Photos flashed on screen. Me house, my car, me at the mailbox. Some residents may not be honest about their jobs, she said. We suspect illegal surveillance gear. The irony stung. Neighbors stared as I raised my hand. I've got questions about the security station, signal arrays in the foundation, hidden antennas, spectrum analyzers aimed at homes. What's that for? Linda's eyes narrowed. What equipment? I read, I said smoothly. And the covenant requires a 2/3 vote for structures over 100 square feet. Neighbors say they never got notice. Murmurs spread. James stepped up. MS. WIS knows a lot about surveillance for a software developer. I also read state law, I countered, showing highlighted papers. I've filed with the county, building inspector, and attorney general. They're curious how this got approved. Linda's face darkened. Let's discuss this privately. I like transparency, I said, handing out copies. Like knowing why an HOA needs military-grade comms. The suited men exchanged looks. One touched his earpiece. James ended the meeting abruptly. Emily, troubled, whispered, is this true? No permits. It's documented, I said. Something's off. Noticed anything weird? She hesitated. James watches your house at night, gear in his window. The lights cut out. Chaos erupted. A hand grabbed me. Come with me if you want to live, hissed Mark. A neighbor I barely knew, now holding a government pistol. Your cover's blown. They've called cleanup. Emergency lights flickered. Linda and James charged toward us, masks off. Who are you? I asked Mark. Same agency, different unit, he said. That structure's a signal hub targeting our ops. Move. We hit the exit as Linda yelled, stop them. National security. Mark shoved me into a car. The HOA's foreign intel. They've compromised the whole area. 3 weeks later, my garden was still a wreck, but the concrete box was ours, disguised as a shed. The doorbell rang. Director Hayes. You uncovered a hell of a mess, she said. Foreign spies using HOAs as cover. Brilliant, really. Who suspects them? What about Linda and the others? Traded back. Linda's a top operative with intel we need. The neighborhood was now agency staff, dismantling the network. Your cover's safe, Hayes said. You're still the software developer who lost to the HOA. But I want you running counterintelligence from here. The doorbell rang again. Emily, with a welcome basket and papers. HOA's electing a new president tomorrow, she said. I nominated you. Hayes smirked. Me? I laughed. After they trashed my yard? Exactly, Emily said. To stop it happening again. I signed the form, pin from Emily, wondering was she just a neighbor or another player in this game.